NewsClick, has it broken any law of the land? I think it shows that the authorities who are in power in New Delhi at present, they do not respect the independence of the media. It is not just journalists. What about my family? What about my wife? What about my children? What about my sister? This has an impact on their psyche. It psychologically affects them. It comes under the FCRA, the Foreign Contribution Regulation Act. Now, you can make any number of allegations. Will you be able to prove it in a court of law? I had earlier worked with NewsClick. They are doing something else today. They are working with some other organization. Even they were called. A professor who has known Prabir Prakasa several years ago, he's a professor of history. They took away his hard disk. He says, how will I teach now? All my material is here. This is the kind of thing, harassment.
Hello, welcome to a special episode of Cotton. And our guest today is Paranjoy Guha Thakurta. So, Paranjoy, I welcome you to our program. And we are going to discuss a little bit about the NewsClick thing. So first of all, if I could ask you, how are you related to NewsClick?
I'm a consultant. I have been a consultant with the private limited company that runs NewsClick. The name of the company is PPK NewsClick Studio Private Limited. I have been a consultant with them from May 2018. I am not an employee, I'm not a shareholder, I'm not a director, I'm not a part of the editorial board. I'm an independent journalist and I'm a consultant with NewsClick. You want to know how much they pay me? I'll tell you, I have no hesitation.
if you wish, you can.
It's up to you. You ask me the question and I will ask you.
Yeah, please, please.
The right-wing people were saying, oh, I've got a huge amount of money, 40 lakh rupees. What they're not mentioning is this is over a period of more than 5 years. All right. For the first 3 years, I would get 1.5 lakh rupees as a consultancy fee, as a remuneration. They would deduct tax at source. I would raise an invoice and the money would come straight into my bank account. So the income tax department, the Delhi police, everybody is welcome to look at my bank account. They have all the details. After 3 years, by which time COVID had begun, we were all working out of home. The operations had been curtailed somewhat. The remuneration, the monthly remuneration came down to 1 lakh rupees. That means after cutting tax deducted at source, I was getting about 90,000 rupees. Now, over the last 2.5 years or so, I've not been raising invoices every month. Some months I have done work for them, some months I've not done work for them. So this is the factual position to all those who make all kinds of allegations against me in the social media, including calling me an agent of China. Every single paisa I have got, every single rupee I have got is in my bank account. And it has been denied by the lawyers and the representatives of PPK NewsClick that they have got any money from China. So let people say what they want to say. You can't stop all the trolls and the anonymous trolls on the social media. So through your program, I'm hopeful your viewers will be given the facts.
Absolutely.
Please go ahead.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That
Please
is
go
what
ahead.
actually I want people to know, that all this hullabulla, all this noise about this NewsClick, and the people, to me, they're the most respectable, well-meaning people. And against them, all kinds of allegations, wild allegations. So that is why I thought that I should directly speak to you and hear it from your mouth. What exactly is the factual position? Now, coming to the second question, how do you react? How do you respond to the police raids in the offices, in the premises of the NewsClick, and in the premises of the people who were associated with the NewsClick in the past and also currently? So, how would you respond to it? First, I have come to know your relationship with NewsClick.
Let me tell you, never before in the history of India has the Delhi police organized early morning visits to the homes, not offices, to the homes of some 80 individuals. This is according to the Delhi police itself.
80.
And there are some 80. Now,
80.
all of them are not journalists. All of them are not journalists. Some of them do not have any association with NewsClick, but have some association with the person who has set up NewsClick, and that is Prabir Purakaist. I'm a consultant. There are young people. Somebody is a graphics designer. Somebody is a trainee copy editor. Somebody is a camera person. Somebody is a camera editor. And they are located in different parts of the national capital region. But the raids have also been conducted by the Delhi police in Mumbai, in Hyderabad, in Kerala. Now, during the emergency, 1975 to 77, Indira Gandhi's government had put several journalists behind bars. After approximately 19 months, they were released. The emergency lasted 21 months. In May 1977, she lost the elections. A separate matter that she returned to power in January 1980. But never before do you have a situation where early in the middle of the night, few hundred police personnel, men and women, were called to the office of the special cell of the Delhi police. And in a coordinated manner, they visited the homes of, as I was saying, about 80 people in different parts of the National Capital Territory of Delhi at 6:30 in the morning. And I said, you want my mobile phone? Give it to me in writing. Give me a seizure memo. Many of the people were intimidated. They give up their mobile phone, their laptop, their pen drives, their hard drives. Some people, their checkbooks. One young woman, her father's checkbook, her father's property documents, others' passport. In some cases, the homes of the people, they virtually ransacked it. They took out each and every book from the shelf to see if there was something kept behind the books. In comparison, I was treated very well. Not only were they very kind, very polite to me, they kept asking, you want tea, you want coffee, you want chana bhatura, you want kulcha with aloo ka sabji. They were very polite, very nice to me. I just hope they have been nice to Prabir Purakaista, who has been first in police custody and then in judicial custody from the 3rd of October. He is over 75 years old. I hope they behave well, the police and the jail authorities, with Amit Chakravarti. He is in the Human Resources Department. He is physically challenged. He walks with crutches. He was afflicted with polio at a very young age. I also hope that all the laptops, all the pen drives, all the mobile phones, some were given SIMs. Their SIMs were returned, not the phone. Pen drives, all of them are returned to the journalists. By seizing these electronic devices, you are actually depriving journalists of their livelihood. आप उनका जीविका छीन रहे हैं. And I believe this is not done. It should not be done. We are going to hear what the court will say. Time will tell. But this kind of action never happened before in India. I believe it is aimed not just at those who have been associated with NewsClick, those who have been associated with Prabir Purakasta. I think it sends a message. It has a chilling effect on all journalists who are independent, who are taking a critical view, who take a critical look at the government and those who are in positions of power and authority. This sends out a clear message to all of them. Look, this can happen to you. In emergency, there was a midnight knock. This is a 6:30 morning alarm. Can you imagine? At 6:30 in the morning, these police persons are appearing at your doorstep, at your home. I think it shows that the authorities who are in power in New Delhi at present, they do not respect the independence of the media. And this is not good for freedom of expression, which is a fundamental right of every citizen under Article 19(1)(a) of the Constitution of India. And I think this is bad, very, very bad for democracy in this country.
While I was listening to you, actually, I was feeling very sad inside me. I was feeling very, very sad inside. We claim ourselves to be a democratic country. We claim ourselves to be a free country. And when in a democratic country, in a free country, such kind of things happen. Now, I do not know how to respond to it, how to react to it. But as a journalist,
I want to make one more point. It is not just journalists. What about my family? What about my wife? What about my children? What about my sister? This has an impact on their psyche. It psychologically affects them very badly. And I'm not alone.
But that is what I'm saying.
Look at the way, I mean, here is a person.
That's what I'm saying.
There is a person, she has written a few articles for NewsClick, 3 or 4. Even her home is visited. You're a freelance contributor to a website, and this is what happens to you. What do I have to say? What can I add except that this is absolutely terrible, extremely sad. 3rd of October 2023 will go down as the black day for the media in India.
That is what actually, while I am not related to any members of the people who were actually raided, whose houses were raided. But while listening to and while after when we came to know about it, and particularly today, while I was listening to you, the effect on me is I'm feeling extremely sad inside, very sad and sorrow. Now, but my next question is, what was the crime? What was the crime? Why did they do
You,
it to?
you see, I'm going by certain facts and what is given in the first information report. First, in February of 2021, the Enforcement Directorate in the Ministry of Finance, which is supposed to enforce the Foreign Exchange Management Act and the Prevention of Money Laundering Act, they went and raided the offices of NewsClick. Prabir Purakasta and his partner, they were kept inside their homes for 5 days. This was based on a first information report lodged by the Economic Offences Wing of the Delhi Police. After that, the Income Tax Department entered the picture. Then the court, the Delhi High Court, ordered a stay on what they said coercive action against Mr. Purakasta and others. Then what happens? This first information report by the special cell of the Delhi police is lodged in August, in the 17th of August, if I'm not mistaken. Then what happens is, almost 1.5 months later, this operation happens. What is this under? UAPA, Unlawful Activities Prevention Act. It is the most draconian law in the Indian statute books. Next to impossible to get bail. It is meant for terrorists. What does the FIR say? The first information report says that Mr. Purakasta and others associated with NewsClick, they are trying to negatively impact the unity and the integrity of India. Bharatvarsh ka ekta or akhandata. And what does it say? This group of people, they are trying to use the words of the FIR, tinker with the boundaries of India, with the national boundaries. Are you trying to tell me that, let's assume they are all anti-national, extreme left elements? You think a group of people based in different parts of India and notably Delhi can tinker with the national borders? Can say Arunachal is part of China, Jammu and Kashmir is part of China? I mean, this is ridiculous. Then they say Mr. Prabir Purakasta has been associated with an organization, and this organization is trying to influence the 2009 general elections, the Lok Sabha elections. But if you look at it logically, can a group of people, let's assume they are very, very bad people, extreme leftists, whatever, can they influence the elections in this way? What are you trying to, what are these allegations? They are ridiculous, ludicrous. Then you are saying, on the basis of a report published in New York Times in August, that you have received money from a person who has set up various trusts and other entities and who has a close association with the Chinese Communist Party. He has issued a statement, his lawyer has issued a statement, NewsClick's lawyers have issued a statement. But the question is, has the New York Times say that Mr. Neville Roy Singham and his associates and the companies and entities associated with him have broken any law? They have not been accused of breaking any law. In America, you don't like the Chinese. You are saying he's a propagandist of the Chinese Communist Party. Has he broken any law? NewsClick, has it broken any law of the land? Go to court, challenge it. What is the need for calling them terrorists and putting them behind bars? And after this, they again have another case by the CBI, the Central Bureau of Investigation, this time under the FCRA, Foreign Contribution Regulation Act. Now you're saying the money that has come to NewsClick is not supposed to be foreign direct investment, but a grant, and therefore it comes under the FCRA, the Foreign Contribution Regulation Act. Now you can make any number of allegations. Will you be able to prove it in a court of law? Let's see. Let's wait and watch. I have respect. I have great respect for the judiciary. And I think all these allegations will not stand up to judicial scrutiny. That is my personal opinion.
And what are the evidences? Where are the evidences?
This you should ask them. Ask the Delhi police. Ask the CBI. Ask the Enforcement Directorate. What evidence do you have?
You make a statement. You make a statement. You can make a statement about any person. You can say anything. But then you have to substantiate that with conceivable, with evidence. Where are the evidence? And after NewsClick has come very clearly, I have read it very clearly, the statement issued by the NewsClick. So far, from 2021.
And also by Mr. Neville Roy Singham, and also by his lawyers.
Lawyers, I have seen that also. They say that they have not violated, they have very carefully examined before investing the money. They have very carefully gone through the existing laws, prevalent laws, and they have not violated a single law, single thing. Then on what basis, one fine morning, okay, I don't like you, I say all kinds of things against you, and I do all kinds of harassment to you? Now,
this is unfortunately what has happened. This is exactly what has happened. Most unfortunate. But this is exactly what has happened, what you are saying.
Yes. And another thing, okay, there is a news item, there is a news story, as Arundhati Rai has very nicely said, that you, on the basis of Arundhati Rai or someone else, that on the basis of stories, you put people behind the bar. And another thing, now if you put people behind the bar on the basis of stories, news stories, then the New York Times, and not only New York Times, many other newspapers all over the world, after the Hindenburg report, wrote volumes against Adani. What happened?
You know, I want to add something. All the people who were called to the office of the special cell of the Delhi police, and all the others whose homes were visited by police personnel, they were asked more or less the same set of questions. Did you cover the Hindu-Muslim riots in Delhi in early 2020? They asked me that. I said, no, I did not. Then they said, have you covered the farmers' agitation? I said, yes, I have. Others were asked. That's what I'm saying. As a journalist, there are lakhs and lakhs of farmers who have built these makeshift townships outside the national capital. They are protesting against the laws of which were enacted by the government. And finally, Mr. Narendra Modi withdraws the laws. Is it not my job to report what is going on, to analyze what is going on, to tell the world, to write articles, to shoot videos, and analyze what is happening?
And forget about and forget about laws and nitty-gritties of laws and things. Doesn't it go against the common sense? I think it goes against the common sense.
You know, I'll tell you the kind of questions. These kind of questions were asked to everybody. Not just what is your association, what is your bank account number. They asked me, do you use Signal, this app on my mobile phone? I said, yes, I do. Then they started asking me, you have called up this person in Hong Kong. Why? I said, he has written a book. He came to India. I interviewed him for NewsClick. So I was fixing up that meeting, that appointment. Then he said, this is another person who is in Australia. You have spoken to him? I said, yes, I have spoken to him. He runs a website which is called Adani Watch. I write for them. I raise an invoice and they pay me. Everything is going into my bank account. I'm not hiding anything from you. Then came most ridiculous question. One inspector, he asked me, who is S. Bhatnagar in the United States of America who you have spoken to? I said, he is my brother-in-law. He is my wife's brother. Are you going to tell me why I have to give you an explanation why I'm speaking to my brother-in-law? I mean, come on. This is utterly ridiculous.
Ridiculous. Now, coming to our final thing, that they have done this thing to NewsClick, that they have done this thing to the people who are associated with the NewsClick in the past and who are also associated with the NewsClick now.
Now, Paresh, one second, several people who had left NewsClick, who had earlier worked with NewsClick, they are doing something else today. They are working with some other organization. Even they were called. A professor who has known Prabir Prakasa several years ago, he's a professor of history. They took away his hard disk. He says, how will I teach now? All my material is here. This is the kind of thing, harassment. The professor's name is Dilip Simeon. He used to teach history at Ramjas College. He's a visiting professor.
Now, final thing. That all these things has happened to NewsClick, to you and many other journalists and others. Now, as an independent individual, as a citizen, forget about as journalist, but as a citizen, how should I respond to it? What is the responsibility? How should a citizen respond and react to this thing?
What I'm saying, this is my response to your question. This concerns every citizen of India who believes that the Constitution of India, and the Constitution of India has clearly stated that the freedom of expression is a fundamental right of every citizen. I think it not only concerns NewsClick, it concerns all journalists, and I think it concerns all citizens who believe in freedom of expression and who believe in democracy, because you cannot have democracy without freedom of expression. The right to have an opinion which is different from somebody else's. It is not a question of facts, it's a question of opinions. It is not a question of defamation or manhani. It's a question of having an opinion. Okay, you think that the government thinks that the way in which after the COVID pandemic, the management happened was good. I say no. I think there were many flaws, many limitations. Does that make me into an anti-national element? I am a proud Indian. I'm a proud patriot. Just because I have questions to ask of this government, does this make me into anti-national element? Does this make me into a Deshadrohi, a Rashtradrohi? a member of the Tukre gang. These people can say anything. It's unfortunate that this is the atmosphere that is prevalent today. And Mr. Narendra Modi is the only Prime Minister of India so far, the one and only Prime Minister of India who has never addressed an unscripted, spontaneous press conference where journalists can ask him anything. He has only picked and chosen the journalists he wants to give interviews to, selected. They've asked only goody questions. He has given interviews to advertising professional like Prasoon Joshi, to actor like Akshay Kumar, where Akshay Kumar asked the Prime Minister of India, a question his driver asked, माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी आप आम कैसे खाते हैं, आप काट के खाते हैं या चूस के खाते हैं, how do you eat your mango? I mean, look, we have reached this kind of a level today. This is the atmosphere. Anybody who's asking any questions to those who are in positions of power and authority is branded as anti-national. I think this is bad for every citizen of this country who believes in democracy.
Thank you very much, Guha Thakurta, because I wanted to hear all these things from your mouth. Because as you have said it, that it is not only the concern, it shouldn't be only the concern of the journalist, it should not be the concern of the journalist community, because any person, any individual who believes in rule of law, who believes in the preamble of our constitution, it should concern him. It should concern him because whatever, okay, the thing is in the court, everything is in the court, but even as an individual, as an independent individual, whatever court says or whatever, I have respect for court, but I have my own thinking. I have my own thinking. I have my own understanding. So in a country when independent journalists are treated like this, I think there is something fundamentally wrong. And that is what concerns me as an individual, not only as a journalist, but as an individual. So I thought that I should hear from you, and thank you very much for sparing time for
Thank
the
you.
viewers of Northeast Now. And we'll get back again whenever there is something to hear from you. Thank you very much. Okay.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Paresh.
Okay, thank you. Take care.
You, whenever you wish to, after you put it up, just send me the link.
I'll send it to you. Otherwise, you are fine. Everything is fine.
Thank you.
Good, great. Okay.
Yeah, my family is very worried. My wife, our daughter, our son, they are very worried. My sister, they're all very worried.
They will be all right. They will be all right. Sorry, I couldn't meet you when you came to Guwahati last time. I was not here.
No problem. You were traveling.
No problem. Next time when you come, we'll definitely
bye.
meet. Okay, bye.
Okay.